Nice. All right, we're live. Welcome back. Man, I want to ask you the question here once again. If you joined me earlier, you noticed that my computer crashed on me midway. But stepping back into it here on a beautiful rainy day here in Colorado. We just had a hailstorm too. Now the air is nice and crisp, fresh and clean. Well, let's get into it. Do you feel like you're showing up as your authentic, true self? Do you feel like you're showing up in your life with power? Or do you feel like you're showing up as a mask, a shell of the man that you could be? How are you showing up? That's an important question. And it's a painful question. And a lot of times it's easy to kind of brush it aside and not look at it. But I want to challenge you to look at that today. Are you showing up as the man that you know you could be? Or are you just showing up as a shell, an empty husk? Some of the greatest pain I experienced in my life was that. And you may have heard me mention it before or not. Either way, there was a point, at the age of 20, I was a suicidal alcoholic. Why? Because I was so disconnected from who I was. Alcohol wasn't really the issue. But my disconnection from myself led to a disconnection from any sense of purpose and meaning in my life. And I felt so empty and hollow that I didn't care to live. And I drank myself to a blackout anytime there was alcohol around. Not fun, not good, not fulfilling, but it's how it was. It was how I was showing up. I was showing up as a shell of myself. Why? Here's why. It's because we take on, there's two primary things that create the mask and the shell and the repression and the suppression. Because who you are, right? Who you're meant to be is who you already are at the core of your being. When you can step into your own truth of who you are with authenticity, with integrity, it creates this infinite spring of confidence within you as well, because you know who you are and you're showing up as that as clearly as you can. I think it's an ongoing process of development and growth, which I'm glad of, because then you don't have to feel like you hit some point where you're stagnant and it's done. It's not like that. I'm not promoting myself as the paragon of human growth and potential. I just love to be on this path and this journey. And I see my trajectory has been incredible of the growth and the shift that I've been able to make that brings me here today, and has equipped me with the unique skills to work this healing in the hearts of others at a deep level. So let's talk about that, because what's going on is that core of you, that authentic and true you, has been covered over with layer after layer of two primary things, which are false beliefs and emotional trauma. Because the beliefs determine our thoughts, which determine how we take action in the world. But the other piece of that determines our actions is your emotions, your energy of your being is where your emotions get stored. So when there's been an emotional trauma of some sort, which this can happen in many, many different ways. I was just working with a client earlier, and we were working through some of the emotional trauma that had been created by a particular event, and it created a belief system. So there was a belief system created and an emotional trauma embedded into the energy system that creates a trigger that recreates that particular experience throughout their life, right? So they can find themselves in reliving a negative experience, even though that experience was long in the past. And usually when does that happen? Well, this one happened at 4 years old. That's the level that we dig to, right? Because you formed your subconscious primarily between ages of 0 and 7, right? Because till the age of 7, you're a sponge absorbing everything. Your brain is in theta state, which means there's no critical thinking going on, which means you're not judging, you're receiving. Now, as an adult, after the age of 7, that's why teenagers, oh God. Why? Because they can question what the hell you're saying. Stop accusing teenagers. Look at I hate that. Get off on that real quickly. Stop accusing the kids. They're finally starting to actually realize that the parents aren't as much all that they got to pretend to be when the kids were younger and didn't have the ability to fight back. But by the time we're a teenager, these beliefs have already been formed in. So a lot of times, what happens is like, oh, I hate my parents, but I'm just like my parents. So what do you do about that? It's not worth hating them. It's not worth resenting them. They probably did the best they could with what they had, which was probably limited, negative beliefs and emotional wounding. Because you look at the generations before us, and they're all pretty, honestly, there's a lot of wounding. There's a ton of wounding that doesn't get talked about, and it's idiotic. But it's because we don't, as a society, we've lost there's stigma around mental health. What an idiotic thing. It's like saying that there should be stigma around somebody with a broken damn leg. Give me a break. If you need help, you need help. Why are we judging people for needing help? All that does is create stigma, which creates repression, which means that, you got to hide this thing, and then it just gets worse. So let's drop the stigmas about mental health and start to address things so that they can be healed. There should be no stigma. I've dealt with plenty of mental health, especially deep depression, as I mentioned. Right. So where was I going? Well, so we take on, by the time, so we take on these belief systems and these and the energy patterns by the age of 7. And so then as an adult, we're living out 95% of our days are subconscious. So when you can get back down to the root, that's when you can change your life, because the past is behind you, but it does not mean it cannot be affected in the moment. It can. It just was. So I'm talking about with the work that I just did with my client this afternoon. We went back into the past of 4 years old and reframed an experience so that she could be free from it moving forward, right? And step into her vision and her dream. Okay, that's the power of this. And I just want to, so the thing for you is, if you're not showing up as who you know you could be, that right there is something to pay attention. Who you know you could be. That's why you feel pain, is because there is a comparison. Otherwise, there would be no pain. If you were fully who you're meant to be, there would be no pain, because there would be no comparison, right? You would not feel your lack, which is not a lack of who you are intrinsically. It's a lack of the identity that has been taken on because of limited beliefs. It's exactly that. The belief systems are limited. You are not. You are a whole person waiting to be revealed, waiting to become. That's our job, is to become who you already are. And the process of that is healing the wounds. It starts with, I always start with, where do you want to go? What is it that you want out of life? Who do you want to become? And then once you're clear on that, then it becomes the baggage and the obstacles arise, and you have to be able to work through those. That's really where the work kicks in, okay? Because I can help you set goal. I can teach you everything about goal setting in this content, which I'm going to continue to put out for free. Happy to. And even how to determine your future self, and to look at that identity reflects upon you in the moment, etc. And even to tap into your own energy. It's one of the most powerful things I do with my clients as well, is helping them understand their natural energy, so they're no longer working against themselves. Don't fight yourself. Don't fight yourself daily. Work with yourself. Be at peace. Make peace with yourself, and heaven and earth will make peace with you. Powerful quote. It's something I live by, and it's what I implement in my work with my clients. So that is the point. If you're not showing up as who you know you could be, that already is telling that you do know who you could be. And it's something to dig deeper into, and to create that new identity of who it is that you feel that you want to be is who you are. You want to be who you are. It's this interesting dynamic. But to get there means the shedding and the healing it's this inner healing that goes on of the heart and of the thinking patterns, the belief systems. My invitation to you is, if this resonates for you, if you're a man out there and you want to show up more powerfully, reach out to me. Let's set up a call and look at what's going on in your life, what's holding you back, where you feel stuck, what are the triggers that come up that feel like it's a subconscious pattern that you almost feel like you have no control of over anymore at this point. Where is it that you feel like you're inauthentic, you're not showing up as your full person, etc.? Because when you step into your authentic expression, your life changes. The world changes around you, because your own perception of the world changes, because you're being true to yourself. It's the most powerful shift that you can make. My passion is to help you achieve that, is to step fully into yourself, not to be like me, but to be you, who you already are. All right. So I invite you, reach out to me. Let's book that call. just comment call down below and I'll be in touch with you about that. Thanks for watching this one. Remember, right, it starts with the determination of who do you want to be, because that is who you already are, waiting to be revealed. And then along the journey, as you set that new intention, that new dimension, the direction to go towards, then the process is healing the broken mindset, the limitation, the limited beliefs, and the emotional traumas. Both of those can be undone, can be removed from the past on that timeline, from the deep childhood, I promise you, because I've been doing it, can remove those sticking points. They can just create peace moving forward. That's my invitation to you. If that sounds good, reach out to me. Love to talk. No pressure. See you on the next one.